every road game in our conference is a challenge. There's nothing that sticks out in my mind as more competitive than another. I think some of our success that we've had here was because we truly believed that every team in our conference is quite capable and challenging, and we have to prepare with that in mind, and so that's how we look at it. Every opponent, every game we play away is tough and competitive, and we better be ready.
I want to say everyone, but WAC sticks out. Traveling to Washington, down to Chestertown, it's a long trip. They have a great atmosphere down there. They're a great team, and it's always a blast playing them, especially whenever we travel to their stadium. So definitely Washington. They stick out.
We don't really focus on a specific team in that regard. It's a Centennial Conference, so we know going into it that each team is going to be tough. And what we like to do is mostly focus on ourselves, because if we reach our full potential, whether that's individually or which progresses to a team-based coherence between all of us, then we know it doesn't matter who we play, we're going to be confident and we're going to be ready to take on that challenge.
I would probably say either going to Washington College, Gettysburg, or Dickinson, but pretty much any road game with all the Centennial Conference fans is tough to play, and they'll get after you. They'll be yelling stuff on the sidelines. Most everything is respectful, but still, I mean, it's what college kids do. They'll yell your number and something funny after it. So I mean, we hear it all on the sideline, but I think any game on the road is tough to win, especially in this conference.
I don't know. I think there's a few of them. Washington, has been tough for us. That's a long trip from here to there. They've got a lot of history. They've got that big stadium, and I think if you haven't been down there, certainly for some younger guys, that can be a little bit imposing. But Gettysburg's got a lot of history. They've enjoyed a lot of success. The last few years, Dickinson has come on. So honestly, I think you can in this league, in our sport, you can take your pick. Depends on the week.
I think they're all pretty tough, but I agree. I agree with I think a lot of other people. I think our travel from here, the Eastern Shore to Washington College is always a tough one. I think all of them are pretty tough, but that one seems to be one of our farther trips, so maybe that's a little bit tougher to prepare for. But I think all of them when you're on the road and in our conference, there's so many great fans at all of our schools, and they're way into it, and they get way into it, and we get a pretty good turnout when we're on the road for the opposing team's fan base. So it makes it all really, really exciting. But the one that I would say would certainly be the travel distance would be Washington College.
They're all tough, but I know Coach has said this before. WAC is definitely our toughest game. It's hard to get off the bus, as you said, and they're very strong all the time.
I don't think there really is one. Every team presents their own, sort of challenges. Some games are, always on Saturdays at 1, and others are, which presents a little bit of a challenge. Others are Wednesday evenings, which presents another challenge in terms of that midweek night, atmosphere. So no, I don't. There isn't a game that we go in and say, well, this is because it's an away game or a road game is a little bit more of a challenge. I think they all present their own sort of, in their own unique ways, are challenging.
Well, we were actually talking about this before, and for us, honestly, over my years here at Ursinus, it's been Swaffhorn. They're always well coached. They're always well prepared. Their kids come to play. They're not really loud or boisterous before the games. You kind of never know. But that, for me, and they're all tough, no matter what. But through the years, for us, that's been kind of the toughest place to play for us, for sure. And we got to go their first game of the Centennial Conference season, so we'll try to be ready for that.
I would think, Washington College is probably our toughest conference road game. It's a Wednesday night. So Wednesday night road games, you can't really eliminate the distraction of school, so those sort of make them a little harder than the Saturday night games. And they have that great, beautiful stadium that they play in, and even for Wednesday night games, they normally get a pretty good student section out. That's always a fun place to go in and play. And they're always hyped up and hooting and hollering, coming out to that banjo song they come out to from some movie I'm supposed to know. But they they really get you ready to play. I don't know if that's their goal, but they really get me ready to play when they're hooting and hollering like that.
For some reason, Muhlenberg's tough for us. We don't play well there. I don't know why. And I think playing at Dickinson and playing at Washington, I guess they're tough for sure.
I guess for us, historically, it's been Washington College. It's a bit of a long bus ride down there, so people get kind of antsy, and then they're a really good team, and they've got a lot of pretty rabid fans, so it's sort of like can be kind of overwhelming. And they're just a really good squad. In years past, we've struggled there, but this year we have them at home, so hopefully we can do well against them.
I'd say the two combinations of a long bus ride and having the fans in the stands sit behind our bench makes it tougher game. So I know Dickinson and Gettysburg both, you're standing there and there's a crowd behind you, and normally other fields, you feel like you're by yourself over there. But I would say between the long bus rides to Dickinson and Gettysburg and the combination of their fans being behind them is what makes the tougher games, I'd say.
We've always had a hard time winning games at Musselman Stadium at Gettysburg. It's always a tough trip for a number of reasons, and they're always very good. But they defend their home field as well as anybody in the conference, in my opinion. Washington's always got a pretty raucous crowd, and F&M the last 2 times we've been there has been it's actually been weather more than anything else that's been a real struggle. But I would say Gettysburg's typically been our hardest road trip, and of course we'll be there this year. So.
I can't think of any conference road game that's easy. We're in a conference where none of the games are easy, whether you're on the road or at home. I would say for us, we haven't beaten Washington College since I've been here, and obviously that's a pretty good bus ride down to the shore. So I would probably say Washington, but honestly, the other 4 road games or 6 or 7 road games that you could put up there would be equally as challenging. It's hard to get off the bus and play any team in our conference at home. It's challenging.
Wow, it's tough because to be very honest with you, I think there's a number that we could answer with that. I mean, Dickinson is usually one of the tougher ones because it's the longest bus ride. So having that 3-hour bus ride and having to get off the bus and get your legs back. But then you've got F&M and Gettysburg, who again are that 2.5 hour bus ride and always tough places to play. So just looking at this year's schedule, the 2 away games that we kind of have circled, at least in my mind. Gettysburg. At least in my time at WAC, we haven't played very well at Gettysburg. So we're looking to change that. They've got a tough crowd. They've got their frat guys that line the fence and chirp at our goalie all game and all that kind of stuff. So it's a tough atmosphere to play in. And then F&M is a lot the same, where they get a good crowd and the hard thing about away games wherever you're at is it takes away from the routine we talked about. That's why home games are so nice. You've got your routine. You're not worrying about traveling. You're not worrying about the bus. But I think right now, if you ask me, number 1 hardest place to play, probably Gettysburg.
This one I actually did think about. I'd probably say Gettysburg, just because we've been down there twice and we've had some rough showings. But the stadium they have, and they get a decent amount of fans, and it's a hard road game to play. As Coach said before, WAC, Washington College is a pretty hard place to stay because it is such a far drive. But yeah, just kind of the atmosphere that those 2 teams kind of bring, not only for the stadium that you're playing in, but also the competition of how they've enjoyed success in the past couple of years.
Is the toughest.
I know Coach talked a lot about SWAT, and that's definitely one of the hardest ones for the 2 years that I've been here. But another one is going to Washington College. Their students there are really big about lacrosse, and they're always constantly yelling your ear. So that's just another component that makes going there and playing a lot harder than if we were playing them at home.